Hello Virgo, welcome to the Black-Hearted Oracle. Now this is a reading that I was guided to do for all the 12 signs. It's called the Rod and Staff reading, and it's a 4-part video series, and this first one is dealing with the obstacles that are blocking you from participating in the energies of 2020. Well, the energies that will be coming upon the earth starting 2020. So let's get started. But before we get started, I'd like to give homage and reverence to Mother Sustainer, Father Creator, and of course my beautiful ancestors. Okay. The first message that we received is successful funding. And it says, your idea is divinely guided and supported by the same infinite wisdom of God that gave you the idea. Do not allow money concerns to prevent you from turning it into reality. Crowdfunding, partnerships, and other investments are available to help you. The next message is face your financial fears. Okay. When you are honest with yourself about the fears of success or failure, they can no longer control you. Be free of hidden fears by exposing them to the light of awareness, and you'll realize that you, in fact, have nothing to fear, and that every successful person has struggled with the release of these self-doubts. The next one comes to you from my favorite oracle deck, besides from my own. And it's the Sacred Vision deck. Look how striking this artistry is. Okay. And it's 29 giveaway, which is an 11. And it says, you break it, you bought it. For every action you take, there's a reaction, a cost that must be measured with balance and a replacement. Where your world is concerned, the action must measure the fragility of the item and the realization that there is only one unique and irreplaceable. When you are young, we often go to the big pawn shops in the sky, and we trade something priceless for what we think we want. Years later, it's common to go back when we're desperately in need of what we gave away, to see if we can get it back. But it was sold long ago and forever. We lose family, talents, loves, and ideals in this great exchange. We don't think about how selling out eventually breaks us into pieces. On the other hand, if what you sold could be redeemed, who would be the redeemer? If the cost is a broken you, is the redemption a restored you? Is it possible that you have been whole all along, but lacked the loving eyes to see it? The next message comes from the Chakra Oracle deck. Wow. And it's self-worth. And the message from self-worth, it says, salmon is the color of deep emotional peace. You have been given a gift of self-love. This card indicates a love of life and no longer trying to prove your value to others who may not see what you see. Rely on your inner knowing. People, events, and material objects beyond your frame of reference are being drawn to you. Aim higher, for you will draw even greater experiences into your life. Allow your energy to grow. Receiving is an action. How do I relate to the world? Deserving? Am I ready to allow myself to receive what others may not? Greater knowledge, innocent curiosity, being rewarded, receiving divine love, faith, self-love, and value. The next messages come from the Animal Oracle deck. And the first one you received was Dolphin. You received 3. It says, let go of tensions. What are your words and thoughts creating? Power of breath and sound. Play outside, fresh air. Word sound is power. The dolphin. And that's number 4. Boils down to a 4, meaning stability. The next one you have is 43, which is a 7, my spiritual number. And it's spider. It says, the body shaped as an 8, infinite possibilities of creation. 8 legs, 4 winds of change, 4 directions of the medicine wheel. Strength and gentleness, creativity, the weaver of faith, male and female, physical and spirit, balance of past and future, the eternal plane of creation. The last one you received was owl, and it was 21, and it's the internal voice, extract secrets, meditate, the moon and the night, magic, omens, wisdom, darkness and prophecy, clairvoyance, and it's associated with the goddess Athena. The next message comes from the Shadow and Light deck, and it's Nautilus Princess. And it's powerful personal growth. And it says, soon she is to be queen, and she must make decisions. She feels uncertain about how she will perform when she is elevated and unsure whether she can wield her power. She is very thoughtful as she contemplates the future, but all around her are the symbols of her future success. There will be change as I change. I will continue to hold fast. It ever reminds me to grow in ways that are in tune with my purpose, my integrity, and what I feel is right. I vow to be steadfast and true despite the challenges that are heading my way. I vow not to misuse my power. I will grow in ways that are in tune with my true self and true purpose. You must act from a pure place, from a natural place, and treat this quest as a sacred task. You will grow in ways that are perfect and perfectly proportioned. Expect to grow more and more over time. This is a time of spiritual and emotional transformation. Step up and deal with the new abundance in healthy ways. It is now time to take yourself and your potential seriously. The next message comes to you from the Black-Hearted Oracle, and it says the cards are stacked against you. It says nothing is going right. Everywhere I turn, nothing but obstacles. My life is falling apart. This is because you have come to an end of a phase in your life that you are trying to hold on to. You are scared to let go and move on from what is draining you. The cards are stacked against you. Continuing down this road, a whole new world is waiting for you. Enter where your positive thoughts create a wonderful future full of right actions. Please take the detour. The next message, well, you have 2 of these, and it comes from the Fairy Magic deck, and it says dietary change, improve your diet, improve your life, and your life will also improve. The next one is your desires is within reach. Have faith as everything is working in your favor. Okay, Virgo, let's get to it. Now, for your self-love, it seems like it is so wrapped up in your finances. Well, I mean, that is to be expected, right? Because you are the ones who love nice things. Not to say that's anything bad. We all love these things. Okay, so this is saying that, like, whatever you're going through, like, if you're starting a new phase in your life, because this is powerful personal growth. This speaks about stepping into your queenhood or your kingship and ascending to your throne. But you're going to have to make sure that your self-worth is in check. You know, do not look at yourself as something that is broken. You have to look at yourself as whole. We go through things, and it is meant to shape us for the future happenings. This card speaks of you creating your hell and your heaven. You know, because this has infinite possibilities of creation. And I mean, somebody might look at that and say, oh my goodness, I could create all the wonderful, beautiful, nice things in the world. But no, infinite. So if your thinking is based in a lack mentality, and your thinking is based on self-doubt, and your thinking is based that you're not being able to face these financial fears, and you're wondering how you're going to get this thing off the ground because the funding isn't right, that is what you're creating. And that's what this is telling you, is this is what you're creating. And this one also tells you the same thing, because it says word sound is power. Oh, excuse me, I have to sneeze. Okay, sorry, what am I? Okay, this is also telling you the same thing. It's like, and this is the inner voice. So they're both flanking the same thing. This is telling you the internal world that you have, and the external words, the things that you think and the things that you say are creating your life. Be very careful, because this is 3 and this is 4 and this is 7. So be careful. You have to bring these things into balance, because you're in a very creative time right now. And this one also speaks of the cards being stacked against you because of how you're thinking. And maybe if you changed your diet a little bit, if you ate a little cleaner, or you drank more water, it will give you clarity of mind. Because we sometimes don't realize that what we ingest in our system has a big effect on our mental capacity. We have to think about how we're eating and what we're eating. If you're eating dead food, you can't expect to live from that. You have to put some live food in your body at times. But also, the last message is that your desires are within reach. So you can't, you just have to get the mental state and the words that you're speaking, you have to get them in balance. Because this speaks of coming into a time of great possibilities. This is a 5. This is a time of change. Okay, let's get into the second part of your reading. You had a few messages that came out. With this section, you had 3. So the first is 2 of air, and it says being unable or unwilling to make a decision, a stalemate, pretending there is no problem. You had a 10 of cups and the temperance in reverse. When I clarified this card, I asked, what were the 2 swords? Or what is the 2 unicorn horns? Which was, I mean, if you look at the 2 unicorns horns, they're symbolizing a 10. Like the X, which is a 10 on this card as well. But I flanked it like this. So you are at a state where you're seeking the 10 of cups, which is happiness, good things, and celebration, which is promised to you, you know, by the nautical princess. It's promised to you. And with the spider. But unfortunately right now, you're unbalanced. Because I always like to point out with the temperance card is how one of the temperance angel's feet is firmly planted on the ground, and the other one is barely penetrating the water. So on one side she is fully grounded, on the other one she is barely skimming her emotions. She is not overran by her emotions. or his emotions. And what they're doing is filling their cup. But you can see that this is in reverse. So you're not filling your cup, but you're seeking this 10 of cups, this happiness, this good things, this party, this celebration. The world is yours, you know, rainbows and kids dancing in the rain. But actuality is you're not balanced. Because all you're thinking about is the cards are stacked against you. And maybe you're feeling that way because you're worried about how you're going to successfully fund the venture that you're going into. And I know this has to deal with self-love, but to me, everything is one. You know, maybe because you're not where you want to be financially, this is a blow to your ego, and you haven't been able to face these financial fears that you're having. Okay, the next card that we received was the Emperor, which is a 4 for stability, and the Nine of Swords, and the Judgment. And it says organized and logic, structure, discipline, and leadership. So while you're portraying an image of the Emperor, really what is happening is that you're uneasy. You know, this is tears, frustrations, letting go of emotions, which is unable. This is the worry card. This is the can't rest properly. But you need to make a decision on this to get out of these energies so you can fully stand in your Emperor energies. Because I love to point out that he has his passion and he has his sword of truth with him. So he is not willing to yield to these kind of energies. And maybe that is what you have to do, because your self-worth is being eroded by these fears and these doubts that you're having. But a judgment call really needs to be made on this. The last message is strength. And it says inner strength, release harsh judgments. You need to release this. Release harsh judgments, forgiveness, and compassion. And when I saw this card pop out for you, the first thing I thought to myself is, what are you giving more to? Because to me, all these 3 people represented you. When I saw this card, I saw nothing more than you, Virgos. You know, it made me think that this is you. And maybe this is your higher self, and this is the ego-driven self. You know? And that's all I could think when I saw this card. I don't know. And I normally don't see it like that. But all I could see is that you were not giving to your higher self. That you were giving more to your ego-driven self. And your higher self was starving for attention. But the strength is there to change that. Again, she has tamed the beast within. So this is the recommendation, is that you tame the beast within, the ego-driven self, and give to the higher self, Virgo. Because the strength is there for you to do so. And if you look, the representation of the rainbow is here. You know, exactly what you want, it's here for you. But you're going to have to tame the inner beast. Okay, the next message, you have 2 of those from this deck as well, and it's sacrifice. And it says, there are those worth making, and there are those that will destroy you. So what are you really sacrificing? Again, as I said before with the Strength and the Six of Pentacles, sorry. Are you going to sacrifice these devil energies? Or are you going to allow them to destroy you by not feeding your higher self? Again, I see this card as you completely. Like, I don't see this card as another person, because as I said, this is a self-love reading and these are obstacles to the self-love. So both your higher self and your ego-based self are chained. Do you know what it is to have your tail set on fire and be chained? Because you got to remember, the fire also represents your passion. You know, this one look like these are grapes or whatever that is. So that to me would represent the ego base. And this represents your higher self, because I'm going to set your tail on fire. But you can't run. You can't be free to exercise the path. And look, exactly. I didn't even notice that before, but yeah. Look, the one that I consider your higher self, who is starving, is here with the devil setting his tail on fire, but unable to go anywhere with the passion that is burning inside of him. And the one who's the ego base is being fed with grapes on hers. So what sacrificing are you making? Are they actually worth it? You know, if you're going to be imbalanced and you're going to end up feeling like the cards are stacked against you and your self-worth is going to be put into question and you're going to end up feeling like you're broken and your mind is going to be overran with financial fears. It's time to stop feeding the monsters. Number 13, which boils down to a 4 of stability. Aphrodite returns. If you feed a higher self. You have the 8 of Swords, which is frustration, feeling bound and gagged. The Devil. And then you have the Sword of Truth. So the only way you're going to free yourself from this is to totally stand in your truth and rise up. Regardless if you're male, female, masculine gender, feminine gender. I mean feminine energies, masculine energies. That's not what I'm speaking about. I'm speaking about energies. So if I say him, her, just know I'm just referring to the energies. Okay. So the only way that you're going to free yourself is to stand in your truth, because you have the key. The key to unlock you from this. This person she looks like she's being bound with like string. And there's nothing really keeping her here. You know, just thoughts of petty quarrels and backstabbing and betrayal, you know, is keeping her stuck. On one side, she's thinking about what could, should, might happen. And on the other side, she's thinking about the past things that already happened. But in her present, she's free to go. But she chooses to be bound and blinded from her Empress energies. So Virgo, or her Emperor energies, because the Emperor also came out for you. So let's not, let's not forget him. He's here well represented as well. So just free yourself with your truth. Regardless of what anyone else might think, say, or do, you still have your sword of truth. And once you can hold it up and stand to it, nothing can stop you. Passion. It says, allow your heart and soul to sing with joy. Right? when I see this, like, this card represents like marriage and the established order. But when I see this for you, what I see is your passion is calling for you. Remember, we spoke about the devil and the fire being lit, but you unable to act upon it because of the established order that you're under. So whether this is a marriage, whether this is religion, whether this is a job, or just what you were taught as a child, your passions are being restricted by it, like the chain that is around the higher self. Virgo, you're going to have to use your sword of truth and cut yourself off from these chains that bind you. What is more important? You living wholly from within, or you sticking to the established order? This is a 5, so this means it can change. And I honestly think the change would be absolutely necessary for you right now, because it doesn't seem as though you're fully fulfilled. The last message that we have for you is pay attention to the red flags. The signs are cautioning you. And what we have with that is the Knight of Wands. And what I received from these two cards is, don't become or fall victim to a Knight of Wands. This is a person who's in and out of your life. This is a person who is a passion seeker. I mean, the erotic kind. You know? So don't fall victim to this to fill a void of the real passion of releasing the higher self from the devil energies. You have to be able to stand in your Emperor and Empress energies and free yourself. Free yourself from standing in a place where you're not really stuck and only your mental energies are keeping you stuck. Because we have to remember, like in the beginning of the reading, you have the dolphin. Word sound is power. You have the internal voice. This is the internal voice. This is also the internal voice. But you have to remember, you also have the spider energies. Meaning you can create whatever you want. If you're creating a hell, fine. If that's what you want, and you're happy being stagnant, and you're happy not being able to fully live in your passion, and be blind to these red flags, and seeking your erotic passion instead of your true passion, if that makes you happy, which I really don't see it making you happy, because we received the self-worth card, and we see the temperance in reverse, and we also receive the card that makes you think you're broken, and the cards are stacked against you. But what you should always remember is that you're at a time of powerful personal growth. You have everything within you to master the feminine and the masculine energies as one, and be the Nautilus princess and grow, because you're coming into a beautiful time where you can develop and make whatever you desire happen. You just have to get your thoughts in order and make your heart and your mind move as one. You cannot have them working against you. Okay, Virgo, I thank you for coming to visit the Black-Hearted Oracle. I hope this message finds you well. And I pray that you find your higher self in the quiet places, and may Ma'at hold you in her loving grace. Ashe.